Hey guys, it's Danielle and I am back with another process video, and today I'm going to be scrapbooking this photo of me and my pug, which is the car that I had prior to having a kid. I was actually pregnant in this photo, and it was the day that we sold this car. It was so sad. But I stumbled upon this photo the other day, and I knew that I wanted to scrapbook it. And then I ended up getting my Felicity Jane Maggie kit in the mail, and when I opened it and was looking through it, I immediately thought of this picture again because the kit fit this story so well. It had a lot of heart embellishments and it had a lot of the color orange, so I knew that I would be scrapbooking this picture with this kit. Now I'm starting off here with sort of a plan. I knew that I wanted to have sort of a grid-ish style layout, and I wanted to create this square of sort of pattern paper and photo and journaling, and so that's what I'm doing here. Now, I was originally going to use this big white tag from my stash to journal on, but when I placed it down there, I didn't totally love it right away, but it was the perfect size, and I really like the look of a tag being in that spot on my layout. So what I decided to do was just use some paper from my kit to create a new tag. And I don't know why I don't do this more often. I love tags and I buy a lot of them, but I'm never brave enough to buy the fun cutesy color tags because I just think they're not I like to stretch my budget with scrapbooking, and I think just a neutral color tag is going to match every layout I use. So I tend to buy the white ones and just a typical that like kind of manila colored tag, and this time I just wanted something a little different, and so I think I'm going to remember this for those layouts that I know that I want a color tag. I can just create my own. So you can see there that I just used my hole punch and my little circle punch to create that little hole reinforcer, and I think it looks super cute. And then I took some white cardstock to place on top of it just as a nice white space to journal on. I always like to journal on white paper for the most part, so that's why I created that. And then I sort of played with it a little bit off camera, and I went through my kit and took out a ton of different embellishments that I thought would work on this layout and got a pretty good plan. And when I was doing that, I could see that I wanted to probably create a border around my layout of some colored paper. Sometimes I like to create a border and sometimes I don't, and it's always weird to me why I choose to do it. It's just that sometimes I will look down at my layout and I think, oh, this needs a border, and other times I think that it doesn't. So there's no rhyme or reason on why I put a border around my layout, but some of them I just do, and this one I wanted to. Now I couldn't decide if I wanted that darker sort of orangey red or the other side, which is a lighter pink, so I decided to finish my layout and then come back to that in the end, so that's what I'm doing. Now I wanted to create two little embellishment spots on my layout, one of them being in that square of heart pattern paper and the other one being on the left hand side of my journaling. And I know I want to use some doilies, and I pulled out a whole doily at first. These are doilies that just came in my Maggie kit. But then I remembered I had cut one up to use on a different layout that I didn't end up using. So I wanted to make sure I got that one used up because I knew it would work on this layout. So all I'm doing is just getting some things in place and make sure the spacing is right before I really commit to anything. But I knew that I needed to get sort of my title in place before I created that cluster down to the left of my journaling, just so that I could get my spacing right. And so I had previously took one of those powder tools that will take the sticky off of your stickers or your alphabets or things like that, and I had used that on my words just because I didn't quite know where I wanted to put my title. So that's why I had to use some of that glue to glue them down. They're pretty sticky and they would have been fine, but like I said, I took the sticky off, so I just had to glue them down. And my title is Bugly because that's what we called my car. My husband wasn't totally in love with this car. He bought it because he knew I loved it, but he named it Bugly because he thought it was an ugly bug, and I just thought it was a cute name, so it just kind of stuck. And so that was my title for my page. And from here, I'm taking out a bunch of the heart embellishments, these little charms that came in the kit, and I knew I wanted to use a bunch of them. I liked the cute colors of them and that they were circle and that they were hearts, and so I don't know if I used all of them that came in the kit, but I used a ton of them. And then I brought out some other circle embellishments like that striped flare badge, which I absolutely love, those tiny black stripes with that heart charm on top of it. It might be my favorite part of the whole layout. But I also took some of these it's like they're circle tissue paper, and a bunch of them came in the kit. So I ended up taking one out and layering it behind my flare badge there, just to ground it a little better. I felt that that flare badge was just kind of floating on the layout, and so backing it with another circle just made it feel like home to me. And you can see here that I'm using some Scotch quick dry adhesive to glue everything down. I wasn't quite sure what adhesive would work on these charms, but I did this layout a couple days ago, and the Scotch quick dry adhesive really seems to be holding it, so it worked out good. So I'm just getting that glued down and in place. And now I'm going to stick down my flare badge. So this red line tape that I have here is super sticky, and I've actually used this tape to glue down these sort of silicone charms, and they've come off. So I know this doesn't work on those, at least the times that I've tried it, but it does work on these flare badges, and it's really strong. And so that's what I used for that. But before I actually glued it down, I took my layout over to my sewing machine, and you can see that I stitched around my white cardstock that I used to journal in, and just to add a little bit of more interest. And now I'm taking another little scrap of doily, and I'm going to stick it up towards the top of my layout just to kind of bring some more of that doily to another part of my layout. Just repetition, things like that is all good on a scrapbooking layout. So that's what I'm doing there. And I'm just making sure everything's stuck down and in place. And now I'm just trying to determine if there's anything else I want to add to my layout. So I think it looks pretty good. So I pull out my border again, and I'm going to try it on both sides just to see what side I want it on. And I really like this sort of reddish orangish color, and I like the boldness of it. But what's holding me up is that sort of tissue paper circle that I put underneath my flare is kind of a pinky color, and I'm worried that it clashes with the like reddish orangish of the border. I ended up not worrying about it. I thought of a couple things I could maybe switch it out and different things like that, but I thought it's totally fine. It looks pretty good. But what I did decide to do was take a couple of wood veneer hearts from my stash and add those to that cluster, just for a lot of reasons. I liked having more wood on this layout to match the title. I liked having even more hearts in this little cluster, and I just thought it looked great. So I added those, and now I'm going to use some adhesive to get my border stuck down to my layout, and then I call this layout done. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. You can head on over to felicityjane.com to get more details about this layout and more pictures, and also check out what the rest of the team is doing with the Maggie kit. All right, we will talk to you all very, very soon. All right, bye-bye.